What's going on, YouTube? This is Intergalactic Brew, and I am here to give you my UFC live Cruz versus Johnson predictions. This is going to be a classic event, in my opinion. The UFC always delivers when they go on versus, so this should be no exception. The fight happens 9 o'clock on the dot tomorrow, exclusively on Versus. So wherever you are or wherever you're at, be sure you tune in at 9 o'clock to watch this event, because it's one that you will not want to miss, like everybody else says. But anyway, let's go ahead and get down to the nitty gritty. First fight I want to talk about is Anthony Johnson and Charlie Brenneman. Basically, what we have here is a fight that's going to determine which competitor catapults himself further up the division and possibly into title contention here very, very soon. So both men want to go out and put on an impressive fight, and hopefully end the fight in a very impressive way. So we're just gonna. This fight is gonna be very interesting. It's gonna be very, very interesting because both guys are coming off wins. As we know, Anthony Johnson completely dominated Dan Hardy in his fight, and of course, Charlie Brenneman upset Rick Story in his last fight after being called on just 24 hours notice after Nate Marquardt had unfortunately got expelled from the UFC. So here we are. Basically, what both guys need to do as far as their skill sets is concerned. First of all, Anthony Johnson, he's going to basically need to use his power, his size, and defensive wrestling, because Charlie Brenneman is going to try to keep this fight on the mat and try to tire Anthony Johnson and basically beat him up and control him for most of the fight. That's basically what Charlie Brenneman's game plan is going to be. He would be stupid to try and stand and strike with Anthony Johnson, who is a very dangerous striker and has dangerous knockout power in both of his fists. So, if Charlie Brenneman, can kind of, duplicate what Koscheck did, and that's, kind of surprise Anthony Johnson a lot, and, just shoot in and try and get him down, then he could possibly win by decision. But Johnson, on the other hand, he's going to want to keep this fight in the center of the octagon, basically move around a lot, stay light on his feet, use leg kicks and punches, and, basically try and catch Charlie Brenneman with that right hand, his knockout punch, and put him away. Also, like I said, with the defensive wrestling, he's going to have to defend the takedowns. So I'm sure he'll be well prepared for that, because Charlie Brenneman's going to come after him. Trust me, he's going to try to put that pressure on him and back him up against the cage a lot and try to get that takedown. So Anthony Johnson is going to have to use a lot of takedown defense in this fight if he's going to attempt to get that knockout. But what I basically see happening here is I see Anthony Johnson, or what I think is going to happen is, Anthony Johnson is going to come out from the start of the buzzer, and he's just going to basically start, leg kicking and punching and moving around and hitting Brenneman with combinations, and basically tried to wobble him early and I think Brenneman, might, pull a Floyd Mayweather and try to hold on to to Anthony Johnson and try to pin him up against the fence, to try and recover, and throw some knees in there to the thigh, and just try to soften him up a little bit and try to take him down. And I think what's going to end up happening is the ref's going to break him, after maybe about 5 or 10 minutes of that, and then they're going to take the center of the octagon. And I think Johnson is going to go right back to the leg kicks, and the jab. He needs to utilize the jab since he does have the length advantage in this fight. He's going to have to use that jab, and like I said, he's basically, when they take the center of the octagon, he's going to basically do what, he's going to attempt to do the whole fight, and just use his leg kicks to set up, the punches. And I think eventually, sometime in the fight, he's going to end up catching Brenneman, and Brenneman's going to get rocked, and Anthony Johnson's going to, start unloading with more punches until Brenneman goes down. And I could see the ref pulling Anthony Johnson off of Brenneman sometime in the fight, and Anthony Johnson winning. So there you have it. I'm picking Anthony Johnson, TKO. But like I said, if Brenneman can duplicate what Josh Koscheck did in their fight and go for the explosive takedowns, and just basically close the distance for most of the fight, and try to soften him up, with the knees in the clinch and the dirty boxing, and eventually get him down. He can beat Anthony Johnson. Now let's not get ahead of ourselves here. Charlie Brenneman can win this fight because Anthony Johnson is susceptible of getting submitted. If Josh Koscheck can do it, then I know Brenneman could too. But I just think that Johnson's power and his size are going to be too much for Brenneman to handle, and I think Johnson is too good of a wrestler that he knows that Brenneman's going to look to take him down, and I think Johnson's takedown defense is good enough to fend off Charlie Brenneman's takedown attempts. So there you have it. But like I said, Charlie Brenneman's got a chance, man. You never know. He could shock the world again. All right, moving on. Next fight. This one should be very entertaining. I believe this fight will definitely get fight of the night. Personified. No doubt about it. And if anybody disagrees with me, put your comment right here in the box here, and we'll have a little discussion about that, because when you got two guys of this caliber, and especially judging from the fights they've been in and how they fight, you can't tell me this won't be fight of the night. I mean, forget that, Stephen Struve is, 10 inches taller than Barry is. Barry, he's fought bigger guys before, so, that's nothing new to him. But, yeah, Pat Barry, HD, and the skyscraper Stephen Struve. This fight, I believe, is going to be standing up most of the time, as people would expect. I think we're going to get a good old-fashioned rock'em sock'em robots type of affair. I think, stranger things could happen. Stephen Struve could go for the takedown, or Pat Barry could, surprise us with some wrestling and try to take Struve down. I mean, we never know. But if Pat Barry does decide to take Struve down, I'm telling you right now, Pat, you better switch over to side control. You better make that transition, because if you get caught in Struve's guard, he's going to put those big old redwood-like limbs of legs of his and, strangle you. And we all know you've gotten, tangled in that position before. Tim Hag. But, yeah. So, if Pat Barry does decide to take the skyscraper down, you know, he needs to transition into side control and, you know, either look for a Kimura or some type of arm lock from, you know, the side. But I don't really think that's going to happen. I expect this fight to stay standing most of the time. Now, if it does stay standing, which I believe it will, I would give the edge to Pat Barry because Pat Barry is the more seasoned striker and he's the more experienced striker, being that he comes from that, you know, that kickboxing background, and he's had a lot of kickboxing matches over the course of his fighting career. Now, Stefan Struve, he's been practicing a lot of kickboxing himself, but I would say he's more so of a freestyle fighter than kickboxer. But what Stefan Struve needs to do is he basically needs to keep the distance open, use his jab, use leg kicks, clinch up with Pat Barry a lot, and use the knees, and you know, basically just throw his weight around on him, you know, pretty much. Pat Barry, on the other hand, you know, close the distance, you know, try to get on, you know, y'all basically know what I'm talking about. Pat Barry needs to close the distance and basically needs to go to the body and basically eventually try to catch Struve on the chin. We all seen in the past, Stefan Struve does not have a very durable chin. Junior Dos Santos proved that. Big Country Nelson proved that. Most recently, Travis Brownie, he proved that. So, so Pat Barry needs to close the distance, use the leg kicks, go to the body a lot, and like I said, eventually, you know, try and catch Stefan Struve on the chin. And I believe if he does that, he will indeed knock Stefan Struve out. So, as far as my prediction goes, I'm going to have to give this one to Pat Barry, just for the simple fact that, you know, he's a much more powerful striker, or just as powerful a striker as Brownie, Dos Santos. Well, maybe not more powerful than Dos Santos, but definitely more powerful than Brownie and Nelson. Definitely. I mean, you know, he's got that straight jab he can get you with. You know, he's got those combinations he can get you with. And he's got a good overhand right. He's got some oh man, just some stinging leg kicks. You know, I mean, they'd be right on the money. But I think what's going to end up happening is, you know, Pat Barry will end up catching Struve on the chin eventually. And I think that's going to be the end of the fight once he does. So I'm picking Pat Barry knockout. But then again, Struve has, you know, been hurt before and come back. Remember the Christian Warcraft fight, don't we? Yeah, and like I said, if he you know, opens the distance and uses that jab and clinches up with Barry and use those knees, he could catch Pat Barry too. Because judging from Pat Barry's last fight with Czech Congo, Pat Barry doesn't have that good of a chin either. So, you know, this is a winnable fight for Stefan Struve, but I just think Pat Barry, being the more experienced and having, you know, the more arsenal of strikes, I think that's going to play a big part in the fight as well. Let's see. How much more time do I have? You know what? I'm going to go ahead and just cut this short. I'm going to make another video right now featuring the main and co-main event. So y'all stay tuned. Don't y'all go nowhere, because I'm coming at you right now with the UFC Live main and co-main event of the night. Stay there.